another Thursday night. I see Crispin's wearing tights. Spam is getting in the bath. Young David's full of wrath. Paul is tightening his straps. Where on his apron you saps. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. Cheese Me is on day release. Demon sub tries not to crease. And Ewok's keep it nice and warm. Meanwhile, the Candyman is opening another can. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. Sometimes they're salty about the gaming biz, and nobody knows who Upworlder is. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop 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 time.
Evening, guys. A little bit of a technical difficulty at the beginning there. Right. Just bear with us. I'm flying by the seat of my pants at the moment because one of the potential solutions to David's audio cutout is to run two windows. But the problem is I've had to drop out of studio mode. Otherwise, the chat's completely unreadable in OBS. Not that that means anything to half of you, but so OBS works differently now, and I'm guaranteed I'm gonna fuck it up at some point tonight.
Well, you've already fucked it up once.
Yeah,
Keep it count, boys and girls. It's drinking time.
fuck up bingo card. Get it ready. I do need to just mute David here because otherwise I'm going to be getting twice the audio, which is really annoying.
Everybody loves twice the audio of David.
That's better. I can only hear you once now without some freaking echo. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. The intro gives you a rough idea of what to expect. 2 hours of
Spam's not in the bath, though. She's
No,
cutting grass.
well, we can't hit it right every week, mate. Come on. There's got to be
Well, you
weeks.
can, because nobody knows who a welder is.
Oh, dear. So, yeah, you've got a rough idea what to expect. 2 hours of complete fucking chaos and nonsense.
Can I just cut across you?
If you must.
There is an extreme salt warning in effect for tonight. I will not be holding my tongue and we will have gritted every road in Britain by the time I've finished my rant.
What's it going to look like? A fucking Louisiana fucking salt mound by the time we've finished. So yeah, let's give a shout out to whoever's in the chat. I'm going to have to go over to this screen. So watch David disappear into the ether. Hello to Cheese Me. Hello to Upworlder. Hello to Shakos. Hello to Spam and Egg. That's David's other half if you're new here. Good evening to Damon. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Let's get that back. Hopefully.
No,
Yes.
no Shakos. I didn't attempt the Jeep, but we'll talk about what I did and didn't attempt later.
To be fair, I know you said the Rubicon Jeep. The LVTs are okay. I built 3 Rubicon LVT kits this week while I've been off work. And they were all obviously the track assemblies were all the same, but they were all fine. I don't think there were any bits that really annoyed me. The LVT full water buffalo kit, a bit of a waste of plastic because they've just basically put hole sprues in from the other kits with half the stuff on you don't need, but they're good. I tell you what was fiddly. I'd put together the landing craft, the Sarissa landing craft, and they've got some terribly fiddly fucking like mooring posts that go down the side of the landing craft. I don't know what you call them, that you tie rope round. They've got a technical name.
You're gonna fucking. Oh, I'm triggered now. I need to.
But yeah, they was fiddly as all hell. So yeah, over the next couple of hours, if you're new here, join us in the chat. This is your show as much as ours. We do like a lot of interaction. Helps the 2 hours go quickly. This is a hobby live stream, so if you're a miniature wargamer, get yourself a beverage and something to paint or build or whatever. Stick it in the chat. Tell us what you're working on, if you're working on anything. I don't see our ever reliable Darren, who's the one you can pretty much guarantee will be doing something.
Demon sub, for those that don't know.
Yes, Darren / Demon sub. Hello, Matthew. Good to see you, sir. Is that a new face in the chat? Always welcome. Are we painting or hobbying tonight, sir? Little bit of building, perhaps? Terrain, maybe? Right, mate.
We might be building some dioramas.
Oh, fuck. Okay, right. This isn't going to work. Just bear with me, everybody, because I've just realised.
Evening, Crispin, and no,
Evening.
Pandy, unfortunately, you
And
are not
Pandy!
new to
Hello
chat.
to Pandy, for anybody who doesn't know, is Paul from Pandyman Games.
Shackass.
Go check
What
them
are
out
you-
on the internet, purveyors of the amazing Threat Level 0 and Trench Offensive, First World War One skirmish game. Which I was thinking we need to play in the
Yes, we
non-trench
need to-
version, because I've got some more models.
Ardennes version.
Yeah, I've got some more models I need to paint, and as we don't really have the trench thing going yet, but we'll come to that later.
Shackass, what filthy GW tank? Oh my God, Matthew! Yes, Hard War.
Oh,
That's probably going to make me break this year.
awesome job, sir. I tell you what, I don't know if you've watched previously. David and I tried Hard War out at UKGE. Very impressed with the demo game. It was the basic rule set, I believe. I do like I like the dice interaction with the block shots. Yeah, nice. So yeah, we've made a commitment. No new games this year, but oh no, I didn't. I didn't.
You did. You did, though, sir.
Look,
because the people at home
look,
said you have.
I haven't opened it.
Right.
Look,
anyway.
it's
Anyway. Found about it from last week's video. Thanks. They released the beta rules today. Okay, that gives me an excuse because I have some full spectrum dominance. It'd be a shame to play it, wouldn't it?
Look, see, it's still got cellophane. I didn't. Stop picking on me.
You bought it. Actually,
No.
yeah, this is a point. If Hard War is free because it's beta rules,
Yeah.
does it count? Because I do already have some mechs for full spectrum dominance, etc. And if I'm playing the beta,
To be fair,
count, boys and girls?
if the rules are just print, no money, and cool T-shirt, eh? And we haven't had to buy any model. No, Pandy. No, it doesn't. David. Oh, okay then. So apparently that's it. Why are you muted? Try again. We broke him. That one wasn't my fault. I'm not taking any responsibility for that. That's better.
Yeah, I caught my mic. My mic died.
Not my fault.
What? Why does spam arrive when I'm halfway through breaking apart?
She's been here for ages, mate. Ah, dear. Technical difficulties. Bingo card. Right, do you want... Bear in mind, I haven't set my camera up yet. Do you want to show everybody what you're working... So, over the next couple of hours, first thing, David and I are going to show you what we're going to be hobbying with. Then we'll have a chat. Then we'll have a chat about Gaming Club on Monday. And I haven't done the photos for that either. Crap. And
for fuck's sake.
This is because I'm on holiday. I'm just fucking chilling and enjoying myself.
Fucking breezing through the day. People expect
what else?
quality content, and instead you're here just
right. Can I mute him?
giving... No, you're not allowed to mute me.
I've just realised I can. Yeah, I can. Look, I can mute him. Yes.
Hang on. Hang on.
Fucking hell. Ah, dear. Right. So yeah, then we'll talk some bollocks for a bit. Then about 9 o'clock we'll roll into our main topic, and this week we're going to talk about the dilemma of terrain that looks fantastic, but it has to be playable. Because it's to be fair, we'll give them a credit before we go into the main topic, but there are a couple of content producers on the internet that have done videos that have really got this going in my brain.
Section.
So yeah, do you want to show everybody what you're working on? Then I'll set up my camera and try and upload a photo.
Yes, I will, but it's going to be a very brief one, so I hope you're speed running setting up your camera, because this is where I'm about to get salty in a minute. So come on down, boys and girls. And then...
Oh, did you want to do the Salt Storm at the same time?
No, I'll reserve the Salt Storm. I'll reserve the Salt Storm.
So you're live on the internet.
I'm live on internet and die. I'm currently building...
I've got to set this camera up. I'm going.
Wild West Exodus terrain, the final building, which is the Red Oak Saloon. There will be salt about this motherfucker shortly, so brace yourselves, because it's another flagship kit that, how do we say this politely, is lacking the flagship nature. But in other news, boys and girls, this week 3D printer has gone brr. So we have a lot of Red Rocket to build.
I can't believe how many pieces are in that, man.
It's still not finished. I've still got more to print. I've got roofs to print and floors to print and other shit. But oh my god, Fallout Wasteland Warfare, here we come. It's fucking amazing. And the quality of this deep plea filament that I've been using as a stand-in for my Prima Value stuff, I'm really fucking happy with.
So
really,
what filament was that?
Hang on. It is, if I can roll this down off my 3D printer. Ta-da!
Deeply. Okay.
15 quid a kilo.
Okay. Yes, Shakos, it is the David bought the STLs from. I think you buy them in packs, don't you?
I got this
From
as part of
Modiphius?
the Waste and Warfare Humble Bundle last year. But dude, look at the fucking state of these floors. Look how gorgeous they are.
They look pretty good, man.
Even the
Oh my
concrete
God.
texture's nice.
Just, can you get the camera any closer on that? How's that for islanding? It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, because they were printed this way.
Ah, okay. Was that?
I used brain cells and intentions.
Ah, that's why. Good for you.
I used the Z resolution to get really good prints.
That's smart though. That is smart. Particularly if you've got enough other shit to fill the bed.
Well, again, look at this. Look at this wall. There's bricks that individually stick out from the wall. And
Again,
then the
done.
inside with the plaster.
That's done on the vertical as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Really nice. And really good system from Modiphius because it all just sort of clips together without any fucking around and clips. I've not cleared all of the sprues out at the moment, and this is technically the wrong way around. But it does just clip.
Okay, is the clip system's quite good? Is it robust enough?
Yeah, it's good. I'm going to glue this fucker down because
Okay.
by the time I've put floors and everything in.
Okay, yeah. Does the floors clip or they just rest? They
rest,
Okay,
unfortunately.
yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Hang on, just before you cut away, let's have a look at this.
Again, that's a corner, is it?
Yeah, it's the core. It's the outside corner of the red rocket. One of them's come out a bit poorer than the other three.
Oh, because it's a triangular building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, one of the four.
Oh, okay.
The other three.
The angle looks really acute on that. I thought
this one's. No, it's.
Oh,
90.
they are 90s. They don't look it from the front. They look really.
It's
cheesy.
Look, it's the proportion of this big fucking bulwark on the outside.
Cheese me, the print lines will look fine after it's been painted. The only thing that you probably will be able to see is like David says, about 2/3 of the way down, it's obviously shifted or misprinted. It's just jiggled slightly on it, and you've got a step out.
Probably... It's not. No, it's not. I think it's just the color of the filament.
Is it?
It's actually smooth as fuck.
Because that happened on one of my.
Because the inside hasn't got it, sir. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because I had that on one of my Filipino Philippines cottage hut things. But
yeah,
I figured
print lines eat. But the other thing, just before you cut away from me, sir, if I can find the miniatures, where are they? Here we go. Let me crack it out. You know, what we were saying on the internet about this is possibly a little big. Everybody on the internet recommends to scale this down to 90%.
Yes.
It's actually probably not that bad.
No, but we'll come to it in the main topic. I think that people will advise scaling it for other reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we'll come to. I mean, I get what you're saying. Because obviously that any smaller and that battlesuit wouldn't fit through. But
so yeah, they're looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, for play, it's scaled perfectly in one sense, isn't it? In that it fits the miniatures. But that's not the only consideration, sadly, is it?
No, but we'll more on that in a bit.
Gloss, as you famously say.
You got 5 litres on order.
Right, okay. So let's see. I'll do the same. Chunk. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, hello, Grey Primer.
So, I've got a couple of simple jobs because hard jobs are just too much work when I'm running stream. So we've got all these barbarians for the Red King painted. Just got to base them. So we got a base coat of German grey, dry brush of probably London or neutral Vallejo, and then I'm just going to dunk them in snow effect. Obviously black edge the rims. If I get that done and it's not too intrusive on stream, I'm going to crack out the airbrush because I need to have a massive priming session.
Are you priming some Marine Corps vehicles, sir?
Yeah, I've used rattle can on the landing craft, but I'm probably going to use the airbrush to prime the the LVTs. In fact, I might ask chat's opinion on the LVTs actually, because I don't know what to do for paint, but we'll come to that. So, as I say, for me, we've got an easy basing job and then priming if we run this out, which is unlikely because I don't tend to get much done when I'm running stream. And there you go.
Might, because I've got a salty fucking rant fest to go on in a bit.
Play the Blood Santa. Play what? The LVTs? Fucking red and white Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, that is fucking legit.
Fucking hell. Cheese Me said Russian uniform, and Ewok didn't. I think I've gone into shock. Pink with blue spots in watercolours. Yeah. Just needlessly hard, essentially, is what we're saying.
I think just paint them in watercolours,
right, I'm done
and
with
then
the phone.
actually put them on a beach.
I am done with my phone. Did I get?
I am for a little bit.
Did I get photos of both of the games? Yes, I did.
Yes.
So
you should have.
Chunk, share.
Sorry, I didn't realise you were a fucking grass type Ewok.
What do you mean grass type?
It was super effective. Do you not remember Pokemon?
No. I'm 50 fucking 4 years old. Why would I remember Pokemon?
Kids?
No. Don't know. Nothing to do with me. Have no idea about what you are talking. Right, give them a second to upload, and then I'll be able to queue them up so that everybody can see the shots from the club. Right.
We had quite a good week this week, didn't we?
Did. Only 2 games going. One of which was one of which was my game, one of which was David's, because we played different games against different opponents this week. Delete those. Delete those.
I had a historical hankering this week. You had a alternate history hankering.
Yeah, fast what's becoming one of your favourite game systems, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. Right. Okay. Add files. Where are my pictures? Bring my pictures to me.
I'm in the cabin, but I'll dig out some photos later from the US Armour book. I'm sure it has LVTs in it. So Shakos is just dealing his historical drugs to you.
Good. Because I've done... Because I enjoy doing that part of the sort of bolt action and historicals. I've researched, because I'm doing Saipan and the whole Marianas thing, Marianas and Peleliu campaign. So obviously I've researched a little bit about what the how the LVTs were painted, and because they basically went on an evolution from what I can tell. So the ones at the end of the campaign ended up being quite different from the ones at the beginning. And I don't know, because I've got 3. I've got the AM tank with the 75mm howitzer, and I've got an LVT 2 and a 4 with the troop variants. I don't know whether to paint each of them in
They're
one of the
slightly
different
different.
schemes,
Yeah.
or whether to do the whole thing and it'll look like do them all one and it'll look better. So
Oh, but you're a historical boy. You could do the campaigny shit and do them differently.
No, AM tank, AMTANK, which I think was like a
I am 4, wasn't it?
I don't know. I think because effectively it was just a modified LVT, and I think it was just a term that got stuck on it. Hi, Rich. Yeah, it's something like that. Amtrak, something different in it. Anyway,
No.
let me.
Anyway, get on with it. Show people what we were doing.
Right, so club Monday night. I played Malifaux. So Upworlder and I had a great game of Malifaux. We stuck with 3rd edition because still all of the stuff is not out for 4th yet. And unfortunately as well, Trevor has got one of the only dual faction masters in 3rd edition. I think there are only like 2 or 3. And obviously they are dumping the dual faction thing. So it means Trevor's probably going to have to completely overhaul his lists for when we do go into the new edition. So just to make what could be potentially a massively complicated game easy, we said, I tell you what, we'll just stick with 3rd, shall we? I took what is my massively underpowered Wong list. Not the most effective master in Malifaux 3rd edition. But I'm a little bit... I fancied a change from playing Asami Tanaka and her Oni demons. I feel I've sort of toolboxed that one quite nicely, and I know what I'm doing with it. So to avoid
Now you wanted to play with a hand tied behind your back.
to avoid getting bored, I thought I'll try something new. And obviously the damage output is really weak. Obviously probably some of that's due to do with the model selection I've got. And I could probably pick, I could probably have got some better upgrade models. But apart from Gracie the pig, who's actually the infamous keyword, I think, I don't really have a great model to really pump out the damage. But
no, Rocket Jetpack bitch is pretty good.
She can be. To be fair though, Trevor butchered her within seconds.
He knew what was coming.
Yeah. I think he had been petrol bombed in a couple of games, and I think he realised what could happen, so he just sent his master in to kick the shit out of her, and she was like dropped in one. But it was a very tight game. We got to turn 3, so we're playing a little. One of the things I'm looking forward to is they say that 4th edition will play quicker.
Well, it automatically will play quicker because it's a 4-turn game now instead of a 5-turn game.
But you're allowed to score on turn 1, and now I know that change is coming. I'll be honest. Turn 1 in 3rd edition seems like an utter fucking waste of time, as you don't have the ability to score any objective points and that. It's definitely a good change for the game. But yeah, Trevor won in turn 3. At the end of turn, you always score at the end of turn in Malifaux, and he played an absolute blinder. We were tied for the main strategy, as it's called, but he managed to pull off one of his secondary schemes, and that single point was enough to carry victory. So he won 3 points to 2 at the end of turn 3. when we had to call it because of time. But it was a great game. It was a really good game. And I enjoyed trying to unravel the puzzle of getting my models to do effective things.
What you
The
actually
more,
wanted.
again, Malifaux is a very fiddly, odd game. It doesn't. To be fair, I can see why people would criticise it as not being particularly wargamey. I always say it feels to me like a computer game more, because you've got really weird special abilities that involve generating tokens with aura effects and loads of odd things that are really, they're not, shall we say, not immersive. It's not the world's most immersive miniature war game, but it is very puzzly, and I do like that sort of game. So yeah, that's what I did. Now David played what's fast
I
becoming his
played
favourite
some
game.
Flames of War.
Yeah,
So
he's
we
turned into a
had
right grognard.
D-Day Germans versus Bulge Americans, and I hear you shout at the back, but that's not realistic. I don't give a fuck.
Mate, there's more. To be fair, there's more immersion in what you were doing rather than me putting glowy tokens on
and corpse markers
Trevor's
everywhere.
models to draw cards. Do you know what I
But
mean?
yeah, so this was, I can't remember. I think it was the counterattack mission. So deploy on long table edges. Germans were defending. Americans were attacking because that's the spirit of World War II.
Well, at least
got
anything after the first 18 months.
I got reserves from turn 2 wherever I wanted. And what's it called? Richard had his delay reserves. We had a really nice mat. The village and the win for Richard came from just the crumble at the end of the game, where I basically went, "Oh, fuck the left flank. It's dead anyway." Because I had a column of 5 Panzer IVs pushing up through the middle, and I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell. This is going to go south quickly." I'd already at that point lost 2 easy 8s. My chaffies were dicking around the back by the little dice tray that you can see in the picture there. And my jumbos went, "Right, let's fucking come to Pound Town," rolled up into the middle, and the Panzer IVs, the sneaky little German bastards, decided to run away and hide behind some buildings, because apparently buildings are rather effective against 76mm guns.
Yeah, that will do it.
It was a really good game. Really happy with this table. The only thing I'm missing really at the moment for this is bocage. But again, discussion point later, boys and girls.
Can I just ask, was Rich running any tigers? Or was it an all Panzer list? All Panzer.
Richard's D-Day list is mainly Panzer Grenadiers. He's got a squad of Pack 40s, squad of Panzer IVs. He's got a fucking huge block of infantry.
Really?
Yeah. You know when I always play my like fucking, what is it, 8 or 9 base unit, and you're always like, "How the fuck do you bring so much infantry?" Yeah, it was basically man for man. But what we found out is the Americans charged across the street to kick the shit out of the Germans, took heavy fire, ran away and hid in a building for a turn. The Germans then went, "Right, fucking after them," and they got pillaged. Literally just absolutely tore through that unit. There was 3 men left fucking running away for their lives.
Who's that, the Germans?
And I lost 2 bases.
To be fair, though, this is and remains my strongest criticism of
the
Flames,
assault system.
The assault rules. And I will accept that it could be on me because I don't know the game well enough. But it seems to me a bit random. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've run several assaults where the outcome has been absolutely odd. Do you know
Well,
what I
again,
mean?
like when your fucking troops charged my recon patrol
Yeah.
with the fucking M8 armored cars, the jeeps, and they fucking lost combat, didn't they? It's like, hang on a minute, what?
Cheese
I
Me
know we've just
says you
charged.
shouldn't assault dug-in infantry in flames. Well, yeah, but that's exactly what you did, and you pruned them, didn't you?
Yeah, you. Well, again,
It makes me wonder whether we're doing something wrong. What's that?
don't.
Hit the beach set, £35. Is
Yeah,
that the bolt action starter you got for 30?
no, that's the Flames.
Oh,
That Flames 2-player starter army
okay.
is 35 quid.
And presume what is that? Is that D-Day?
Yeah, it's D-Day, and it's about 50 points, and you can just about see it at the back of that picture is a V1.
Is there a? Am I imagining it, or is there a hit the beach bolt action box as well?
Yes, I think there is.
Or was there? It may be discontinued now. I was going to say, fucking 35 quid. If that's the island, because it was island hopping was the one I got, but I'm sure I've seen Hit the Beach as a bolt action product. So yeah, very good games all round. We're going to have to play some more. So that's the one I've got, Island Assault. I must have imagined it, Cheese Me. Oh, that's the one I bought, and which is another thing I need to do. I need to assemble those fucking Americans. The Japs can wait because I've got plenty, but I need to get myself some American infantry built. So yeah.
Is it news time? Because it's 25-2 before I go on a fuck.
It's the part of the show that we have come to know as the latest salty blizzard of nerdy sorrow. More news than you can shake the salt at. More news than you can shake the salt at.
Right. Cheesy saying OTT needs an intro for Indie of the Week. You have to suggest it to Jerry. I'm sure he can sort that out. So, as David requested, let's do the news. Now then, I'm going to try this and not... I'm going to try to not lose David's audio. Wish me luck, everybody.
There has been some news this week, hasn't there?
There has. There has indeed. I need to go to this screen, and I need to go to web browser, and I need to turn that off. Oh,
I need to move.
dick. Okay.
What did you do?
No. Change of plan. Just bear with me. Oh, you're fucking joking me. That's retarded. What the absolute feckety fuck? That is mad. Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. That's interesting.
Why do I feel like I'm learning things on the internet while you're...
Right. Screen layout's going to be a bit fucking weird to try and get around this audio issue, but I think it's better that than David keep cutting out, particularly as we're probably going to listen to him rant a lot. So let's do this. So there you go, everyone. As I say, sorry about the huge yellow sidebars, but this obviously what I've not realised is OBS literally takes your window and displays it. So unless you're displaying it at full screen, like if I'm doing a split screen here. Maybe I should get myself a second monitor. That's what it's trying to tell me. So yeah, news. This one's been all over the news. I think you sent this to me, didn't you, mate? Obviously, cool mini or not. To quote, Jerry's not here, so I'll say it for him. The website that rates people's paint jobs. Their increasing spiral of decline makes the news again. So obviously, we've already heard from Simon that they're no longer producing any more new Kickstarters or designing any more new products. They're just focusing on delivering, I think, the 9 Kickstarters that are outstanding. Obviously, having cut their own throats and got rid of their income stream, they've also started selling off asset IPs and basically anything that they can do to make a quid. Are you still there, mate?
Yeah, I'm still here.
That's fine. I just wanted to do an audio check and make sure that all this faffing was worthwhile and we'd still got you with us. So yeah, again, there's sort of another news item tied up in this, because obviously Asmodee, I think prior to this announcement, I think that was the sequencing. Basically, they released, their CEO, wherever it was, released a letter saying, we appreciate there's going to be difficult times in our sector, but we tend to use that to buy up anything that's we can for cheap.
Anything worth buying, we will buy.
I think
Is it stapled down? No.
I think it was obviously intended to be directed at shareholders, but Asmodee have basically said we are just going to do the capitalist thing, and as everybody else starts to flounder, we're going to buy stuff for next to nothing and make a ton of money, because we've got massive deep pockets and tons of cash reserves. So screw you. And obviously it looks like they've gone in.
They've gone in hard.
Yeah.
Gone for a good £40 million.
I don't know what they've actually paid. I know it says that the Kickstarter, the sort of like the whole Zombicide IP had raised 40 million in its lifetime. So, you know, if you were to value it, that's probably, I don't know if they've disclosed what they've actually paid for it, but I know that they have bought it basically. Cthulhu Death May Die. Oh, this is all the Kickstarters they've still got outstanding. Simon.
I mean, again, I'm kind of excited for this, kind of not, because I've been wanting the Wild West Zombicide for a while.
I was just looking in this news article. Come On had previously announced a deal to sell $12 million of unspecified IP, widely believed to be Zombicide, but scrapped the arrangement after being unable to agree terms. I am fairly sure that now that they're up to their nuts in problems and debt, I imagine Asmodee took advantage and paid a lot less for it, which is...
You see that 12 million IP you've got? How about 8? Does that sound like a fair price? Yeah. Does 8 sound fair to you? Yeah, I mean, we already do your distribution for you. Yeah. 8? Yeah, mates rates? Fine.
8, or we'll just walk away because we don't give a shit. The thing with Asmodee is, as far as I'm aware, Cheese Me, aren't they backed by... Arab oil money
as well.
I think even though Asmodee might have debt, I think their financial backing is pretty much bottomless, because I believe it's a sheikh or something similar. I think it's Arab oil money that lies behind the whole thing. So like, you know, like their penchant for buying British or English football clubs, if they
Middle of a
expect,
Swedish board game.
yeah, that they expect projects to just lose millions and millions every year. It's like for them, it's just a tax write-off. David's in on the haggle. 10 million? What do you need 8 million for? Here's 5. Yeah.
Look, do you want us to come round with a shotgun and just put you out of your misery?
I mean,
you're not going to get a better offer than that.
I sort of, I know that there's a lot of thoughts that people say that Come have really brought this upon themselves because they've just milked the Kickstarter route. You know, it's like develop a game, bang out the door, develop a game, bang out the door, develop the game, bang out the door. And because they've developed this daisy chain of commitments, instead of actually being a little bit less aggressive, they've fucked themselves. And I get there is that element of self-inflicted wound with this, but I do feel sorry for them that they've obviously had to dispose of what was probably their biggest and most lucrative IP.
They're kind of. I'm sat here now thinking, is there a comeback for them? Do you know what I mean? Because
I'll be honest, mate.
They've disposed of all the biggies.
Oh, they must be planning on riding out the storm so that the actual company exists in some form when all the dust settles. Because otherwise, if you're not intending to save your operation as a going concern, selling this asset, particularly at a loss, you know, at well below value, there's no point. The only reason that makes sense to sell your best, most precious asset is because it's the one that's going to generate the money to keep you alive.
Yeah.
So I've got to think that's the plan. But I mean, again, Cheeseme makes a good point. You know, the IP has been, again, they just got addicted to just reiterating the same shit. They've got to, if they do survive and if they come back, you know, obviously that when they do come back out of the ashes, they're going to be a company that's not even a shadow of its former self. And if they're building back up from the ground up, they've just got to innovate more and not get fucking tempted into IP stickering the same shit and just rehashing it. Because I know it's easy, but
it pays the bills. Well, it clearly doesn't in
well,
this case.
yeah, it obviously doesn't pay the bills, does it? On a more positive note, Zatu Games are obviously doing very well.
They are.
Yeah.
They're moving from Norwich to Shipdham, which is another part of Norfolk. It's near Rederham. It's closer to us. Not that we'll ever get to go there because it's just a distribution centre.
To be fair, mate, they deliver stuff to my house, so I don't need to be close. It doesn't make any difference.
The other thing being as well, boys and girls, they're doing well. They're doing good for themselves because again, they are hoovering up the big boys. Like they're doing stocking for Modifius, and other bits and pieces. So this might be coming off the back of that.
I mean, it's got to, hasn't it? I mean, to move from, because I mean, basically they've moved from being an internet retailer to a distributor of other companies' goods. And there's
They've basically become the Amazon of wargaming and board gaming.
But I tell you what, the prices
don't fucking knock it. The system works. Do you know what I mean?
What's that?
The 3% off, 5% off, and just being a fucking shill whore for every other game and developer and becoming a warehouse. Like,
I mean, their prices are already competitive. Like David says, they have tons of ways for you to get further discounts. So if you buy 3 products in your basket, automatic 3%. 5 products, automatic 5% off everything. Obviously tempting you to buy big. But if you don't want to do that, they've actually got a really good loyalty rewards system. I mean, I know I don't skimp on my hobby, and I do indulge myself, but I still end up earning probably about 20,000 loyalty points every couple of years without even trying. And when you cash them in, it can be what, 15 quid off an order, something like that.
Yeah.
And the loyalty points, you're not restricted to number of items or size of basket, so you can, it's just, and the prices are cheap before they even start. But yeah,
It
yeah,
does. It does, however, make a farce of Zartucon earlier this year.
yes, yeah,
Makes it even fucking worse.
we'll gloss over Zartucon. I don't really know what they were thinking, unless they were just like chucking shit at the wall and see what sticks. Because yeah, that wasn't worth doing, and the correct thing to do is, obviously, you already have a perfectly good war games and board game show in Norwich. Just get in behind it. Just support it. Because it's, a fucking perfect opportunity.
You might upset Athena.
Why? I mean, Christ. I don't get it. I didn't understand the point of Zartucon. Even after I'd gone, I felt, what's the point of this? And that's not a good position to be in, really, is it? It has to be said. So yeah, that's...
You got Cheesney going, they can't do discounts forever. Once they get big enough, then the hurting will begin.
Do you know what? I think Cheesemy might have a point there, because obviously, it's like I've noticed Amazon gets less and less competitively priced every year. We often find things cheaper on eBay or cheaper on Etsy or whatever than we do on Amazon, or even dealing direct with companies. Amazon have sort of like got their captured audience, and now they're starting to... They've moved into that part of the business where they're not trying to draw customers in as much, exploit the ones they've got. Yeah, so that's a bit of good news. This was a Kickstarter you slung at me, wasn't it, mate? Yet more Cthulhu madness.
Frozen Madness. Price on this is not bad, and again, I threw it at you thinking, ooh, do we get this for 7TV? Because I know we've got discussions of what we're going to do for 7TV next year. And again, does some of this fit like your card game?
I mean, obviously, all of these, this is from all inspired by the actual Mountains of Madness. Beyond the Mountains of Madness, I think, is the original story.
Yes.
They've already done an homage to it in the card game with the Edge of the Earth campaign. But that, what does it cost to actually back
like
this?
15 quid. It's fuck all,
15?
mate. It's fucking so cheap.
For all the STLs?
Yeah.
That seems very cheap.
Yeah, and it's ending shortly, I believe.
69 minutes to go, in fact. And that was probably before if I refresh this page, it'll probably be less. I don't know if these timers update automatically.
No, it is updating automatically. You've got 69 minutes to go.
Okay. I mean, it does seem...
Yeah, 15 euros gets you 5 investigators, Shoggoth, 2 giant albino penguins, and the Elder Thing. 52 euros gets you their merchant tier.
Fucking
it's
cheap.
so
fucking cheap. Mate, if you want to spend 13 quid, fucking amazing models. Amazing.
That's what I mean. That's when I saw it and looked at it, I was like, oh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know we've got stuff discussed like for next year and stuff.
We could definitely use it in 7TV. 7T already did do it. You're right. So we could probably just play their scenario pack with these miniatures instead of buying the 7TV ones.
All right, fuck it. Let's go spend some money, boys and girls.
This one's you've been the newsmonger. Now this is another one, isn't it? That's yours.
Which one's this?
This is this Cyberpunk Legends.
Oh yes. So this came up in my Google For You feed. It's advertised and touted as Arkham Horror: The Living Card Game, but cyberpunk.
Okay.
And I'm kind of liking the sound of it. And the reason I'm kind of liking the sound of it is because I, under no circumstances, will ever be buying the LCG, because if I want the LCG, I just knock on a ginger dickhead's door and go,
yeah, there's no point.
Give me all of your cards.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm looking at this going, oh, could this be a thing? It's got the sci-fi aspect. It's got that LCG vibes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got like it's a role-playing game like scenarios and campaigns. I mean, this is a little bit light on detail.
Information at the moment, yes, but it is a preview.
The other thing is, what do you think about the graphic design?
It's okay, but it's a little bit fucking all over the shop. You've got 1 minute, you've got really dark, gritty photos.
Yeah.
And then you have fucking ostentatious neon pink, orange, green, purple shit on another card.
I think that that sort of like cherry red bordering is
it's a little bright as well, isn't it?
It doesn't really. I don't understand why they haven't gone with a traditional black or a grey, because like you say, a lot of the art is actually quite moody and sort of grim. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you've got the odd
this fucking neon red warning sign sticking around the fucking edge of it. It's like, what you doing, guys?
You've got the odd image like this one of this woman here with the green hair and the pink skin, but just looking at all of the other screenshots, that seems to be the outlier, not the norm. And that cherry red bordering just seems a bit fucking weird. To me.
For the sake of being weird.
Having said that, the art style doesn't appeal to me. If it plays like Arkham, the gameplay will definitely appeal to me.
That's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? That idea of like these sci-fi-esque missions and raids.
See you later, Rich.
Breaking into stuff really like appeals to me as an idea.
Do you know what? Cyberpunk is probably my least explored genre. I've never done any cyberpunk RPGs. I've never really read any novels. I played Shadowrun, which was an old CCG back in the day for a little while. Had a few decks. I don't even remember how to play it, sort of thing. So it wasn't a big commitment for me. But yeah, again, if you're thinking about When is this available? Is this some sort of pre-order, or are we just in the hype phase? Or
it's a hype preview at the moment. I believe we find out more information in a few weeks.
Okay, so basically you're going
to watch this space, on, boys. Okay, and girls. Mate.
So that looks cool. Yeah, I'd definitely be up for playing it. Like I say, if it's Arkham but cyberpunk, can't fucking go wrong. Particularly if there's the same mechanism for experience-driven deck creation.
That's again, similarly, having had good experiences with Arkham, it's why I'm looking at it going, oh, it sounds good.
It looks very similar to Arkham in that your 300 card starter set comes with 3 starter scenarios. Yeah, 3 scenarios, which is the same as like the Arkham Horror one. You get the 3 scenario campaign, Night of the Living Zealots, or whatever that is, Night of the Zealots.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking good. So that's it for the news. It's on to main topic. How are we doing for time? Oh,
no, it's not.
Isn't it?
No, it's not. What is it time for?
Oh God. Right. Okay. So
My salty rant.
I'll put this on the screen just so that for context, people. I think this is the one, isn't it, mate?
You just pulled up the instructions for it.
No,
Yeah.
That's the one.
So,
Isn't it?
boys and girls, War Cradle, strike again. And by strike again, there was a ranty stream, probably about 9 months ago now, when you were building the Tillinghast Manor. And the fact that a flagship kit had never received any proofing, demoing, and or building because it was a crock of shite. Well, boys and girls, I would like to bring to you the Red Oak Saloon from War Cradle Scenics.
War Cradle Scenics
missing
2, Electric
a back
Boogaloo.
wall and a base because, and I quote, you should have 10 sprues in that pack, but you only have 9. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I'm missing shit. Get it me now, please. You're holding up my build progress. So, same shit, same story, different fucking setting this time. Because, boys and girls, when you email War Cradle with a complaint about their terrain, it becomes the Gestapo. And there is a million questions of where did you buy it? What did you do with it?
I stole
What's the batch code?
I stole it off a toddler in the street. What the fucking hell? Where do you think I got it? You fuck.
And the best question, boys and girls, bearing in mind you sent this in as an email, and they've literally just emailed you a response to your ticket, going, "Here's our response." What is your email?
Your microphone just clipped out.
You just emailed me, dipshit. You literally just emailed me, and you've asked me what my fucking email is.
It's funny because Shakos said, "Is it a rerun of the Manor debacle?" And it is. The whole customer experience is a complete rerun because, from memory, my first interactions, they felt like they were with a bot because they were asking me questions I've already answered, and that really annoyed me.
Best thing, because it's Lucy that I'm dealing with. Lucy emails me and goes, "Can you send me a picture of everything you've got?" Bearing in mind, I've popped everything out of the sprue and it's just fucking yeeted onto a lid. I'm like, I can, but I don't think that's going to be overly useful. Oh, what makes you say that? Because it's fucking in a massive pile, Lucy, and you can't see shit. Because despite you having numbers on your sprues for building, you don't include them on the instructions.
Fucking brilliant. Yeah, not the best.
Fucking watch this space, because if it carries on at the rate it's carried on this week, there may be another salty fucking rant coming next week.
I'm sure you will get it sorted. The only thing that I find disappointing is that, when was it, a year and a half I went through the same process ago?
Yeah.
And it, for me, this is the damning thing, right? So
here we go, boys and girls. We have had 3 flagship kits. We've had the Red Oak Saloon, we've had Paul's Tillinghast Manor, and we've had the Cat House.
Shakos, stop pushing his buttons.
2/3 of the product line that they've sold to people is faulty. 2 in every 3 kits, the flagship kits, don't have all of the pieces that you actually require to build said kit.
And I'll be honest,
doesn't really fill you with confidence for buying the rest of their range.
Well, this probably doesn't make much sense, and it isn't probably a thing.
No, Taurus, I don't keep buying it. This is left over from like 2 and a bit years ago when I bought it. And of course, it's the last kit in the set for me to build.
Because he has
And
built
it's
the rest of
one
it.
that's full of issues.
It is weird. It just seems weird to me that the little shitty 20 quid,
Jeez.
18 quid buildings, I suppose it's because there's one sprue and there's not much they can fuck up.
Well, yeah. How can you fuck up packing 3 sprues when one is brown, one is grey, one is gold?
Yeah. And the problems start with the bigger kits. I mean, to be fair, parts of my manor weren't even lasered. Like, the windows didn't have the cutouts
Oh, there's
in.
elements on mine that I've had to literally carve out. And again, War Cradle, I don't know what fucking planet you're on, but since when does 1 mil by 2 mil MDF hold up to being shoved out of the sprue very well when it's not even properly cut? I mean, it's that
Yeah.
thin you can't even fucking see it on my webcam.
To be fair, their kits are incredibly easy to bust.
Yes, 3 years after buying it, I discover it's not complete. I know.
So yeah, the hot takeaway, people, is if you do ever decide to buy anything from War Cradle Scenics, assemble it the day you get it, unpack it, check it the day you buy it. If it's possible, unpack it in the store and check it.
That's the best though, right? I'd
Oh.
obviously got all my sprues, popped everything out, and just thrown them on the floor. And put them all in the bin then later that evening to go away to the bin. I've had to fish through my bin tonight to find out exactly which sprues I got to tell them which one they need to fucking recut and send to me.
Yeah, because they sent you a sprue list, didn't they?
Yeah, Festies, your batch codes for cutting this shit. Where do they put the batch codes? Particularly for this red oak box. It's a big box that's got a load of kits inside it. It's on the outer packaging. Oh, what? The white box that I tore open, threw away because everything was saran wrapped and sealed nicely inside and actually told me what it was on the sprues. Therefore, I didn't need the outer box anymore. So therefore, I don't have a batch code. You've got a fucking laser cutter. Why don't you laser the batch code in while you're lasering in your fucking trademarks?
Well, not only that, they insisted I had a batch code on the box, and it was only after I'd photographed the entirely blank white box that had nothing but the sticker on the front to show them that there was indeed no batch code anywhere on that box, that they finally gave up on that. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's bullshit. I asked via email 2 days ago, can you just send me the sprue layout? Like just a picture of the sprue layout, because then I'll be able to tell you what I'm definitely missing and what I haven't got. Because the other thing is, because I'm half-assed building this kit, I don't know what I am and or am not missing.
Do you know what Cheese Me there says? It'd be cheaper just to resend the whole fucking thing. I'll be honest, mate. Obviously, both of the kits that David and I have had issues with have been like the flagship big centerpiece models from a particular range. But the fact that they don't do what you've just said, my attitude, if I was the QC manager there, would be once I've had a photo of an obvious problem, yes, you might say to the customer, just send me a picture of what's wrong, and I'll send you a replacement. My guess is
I'm fully waiting because I emailed tonight saying I'm missing the J sprue. Because again, rather than use numbers, let's use letters.
Yeah,
Fucking
I'm guessing that the nature of the problem is they've got so many complaints that they'd bankrupt themselves if they replaced all the kits. Could be wrong.
And Night Pandy.
I could be wrong, but that would be my suspicion.
And it does tell you kind of why it wasn't at Expo.
Yes. That was the other thing that we thought was odd. Why they didn't bring any MDF terrain to Expo.
A lot of their stuff online and on the Wayland store is currently out of stock.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah, they've obviously
Might
got
have something
QC
to
problems.
do with you fucking having to sort kits.
Yeah, they've got obvious QC issues with it, but they need to get on top of it. The problem is, it's an area of the market that's getting increasingly competitive, isn't it?
Well, again, flip this around, right? I built these this week, boys and girls. These are from Micro Art Studios. They're pre-printed, so they're better quality than the War Cradle stuff. Yes, okay, they're a bit pricier because they're sublimated. Sprues are all etched beautifully, cut through. You just pop them out. A couple of bits of sanding to do, fine. But each sprue is numbered one of three, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. The instructions are really clear and concise and tell you what to do because, again, there's not too much to get wrong with these. But even the other sprues and stuff that they've got that are more complicated are done properly. Again, TT Combat, knocking it out of the park with the instructions. War Cradle, this red oak on War Cradle, right? On the picture that's on screen now, boys and girls, at the very top of the saloon, there's like the 2 little upstands each side of the arch on the top of the building. The bits that actually go onto them are brown. But in the instructions, they're illustrated as grey. So you don't actually know what you're looking for when you pop it all out because they refuse to use numbers.
Yeah.
There are several sets of the instructions where they just do shit in the background, like put a fucking door together, and it's then just there in the background, and you're like, well, what bits am I using for that? You kind of got to fucking play Russian roulette and build it in such an arse-about-face way to make the instructions work.
Yeah, my big kit had the same issues. The small stuff, like the Fisherman's Cottage and that, for the Dunsmouth range or whatever it's called, they were all fine. But that mansion had the same issue. Bits of the instructions were just basically wrong or missing. You know, it
Just
was just
for info,
like,
legally, you've bought a product more than 6 months ago, and it's up to the customer to prove it was faulty when they bought it.
I'm sure that's correct under law. But ultimately, it's, you know, these aren't washing machines or fucking irons, and we have a very small community. A very small handful of people are normally spending very large amounts of money on stuff. And surely...
And yes, woe for me for taking 3 years to build it. But if I've got to film myself cutting the saran wrap on a brand new product every time, just on the off chance I have issues...
Well, not only that, to be honest, it's like with the mansion, right? I got all the way to the second floor before I realised I had problems.
Yeah,
and in fact,
mine's on the ground floor. Mine's on the ground floor.
The point I was making was, I'd already done a hell of a lot of construction. Because they don't show you. So, like, for example, that weird sushi bar model kit that Ross has got me building for her from China, that has, in the instructions is a component list. You can literally physically check everything that you should have before you start. There is not a picture of each sprue on the War Cradle ones, is there?
No.
There is...
Again, if they just did a simple thing of, rather than use letters, did one of however many sprues are in the kit, you could check it yourself quicker. I don't know whether this kit goes to fucking L or J or I.
I get what you guys are saying about the time period is a factor. I think my main annoyance is, having been through the process, it's quite clear that lessons haven't been learned, because I'm sure they don't stockpile 18 months worth of sales on the Red Oak, fucking saloon kit. Do you know what I mean?
No, and again, it's, yes, I appreciate the fact that this is 3 years old. It's not like I've just bought it and I'm kicking off. But when you've bought something and it's still brand new, sealed in packaging, you would expect it to be left. And again, there's improvements that they can make that are a piece of piss. Number everything in the instructions. Use a number of one of however many are in the kit, so that you can cross-check it and do it. Again, keep an inventory, or on the back side of the piece of paper that's sheathed in the front to show you what it is, say, this kit contains 10 sprues.
It's like, Cheeseby says good products do have a manifest. I think the better scale model kits. So the Rubicon kits, front page shows you every sprue in the box, pictogrammed. So tells you what the kit is, and there's literally, you should have 3 sprues, 4 sprues. They look like this, so you can, before you start, you can check. Foreground kits, they used to have manuals, photography. Their manuals were really good for the foreground kits, because it was literally photographs of every step, and again, they'd have zoomed out shots of the sprue. So it's like, step 1, does your sprue look like this? You need this, 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 and this.
Again, fine. TT Combat don't do it the same, but take the Streets of Venice kit. You've got the code etched into it for your instructions, and 1 of 6, and there's 6 sprues in the wrap.
Yeah. To be fair, Shakos, yeah, I wouldn't recommend them. Not now.
Not now.
And to be fair,
not after 2/3 failure rate.
I wasn't particularly pissy about my experience with the Manor, because it's like I said to, I think his name was Jake, the guy I ended up dealing with. I said, I know shit happens, but obviously I would expect you to, because you were saying, somebody said, Cheesemy said about how little support people get trained. The point is, when you have an issue with support, that it should be looked over by somebody a bit more senior and saying, that was a waste of everybody's time and a waste of everybody's money. How can we stop that happening again? And I get it, sometimes you can't. So, like, when the Royal Mail lose your package and the customer's shouting and screaming because they've not had their delivery, and there was nothing you could do.
It's outside of your control.
Short of changing your courier system, short of changing your courier, there's nothing you can do. And I get those scenarios, but, you know, like, the issues that I had with my kit were entirely shit that it shouldn't have gone. There should be a QC system. And again, it makes you wonder, are the people who pack and assemble the kits working from documents that are as bad as the assembly instructions? I mean, if you think about it,
why don't they just do a simple thing at the end of, once it's all wrapped, stick it on a scale. Do a check weight on it.
Oh, well done, Cheesemy. Yeah, check weigher. That would tell you whether you're a whole sprue missing, wouldn't it? There's 1,000 different solutions.
It won't tell you if you've duplicated a sprue, but it'll at least say, oh, have you got the right amount of sprues in this fucking
That's
kit?
true. That's true. You could have literally the wrong sprue. You could have duplicates. I suppose there's no perfect answer, is there? Anyway, so are you done?
I'm done being ranty and salty. Sorry that I clicked, boys and girls, but I needed to vent.
He's been building up for that all fucking week. Talking of the micro art stuff, has anybody bought the micro arts European kits, particularly the Normandy ones? How do they look in the flesh? because for me the colours look off. Just wondered if anybody had any experience in chat.
Asking for a friend.
And if you're not live, but you see this later, and you have bought the Sarissa Normandy, what did you call it, mate? Sublimated printed MDF? Because the Infinity ones look amazing. The colour palette is perfect.
The micro art stuff, you mean, not the Sarissa?
So yeah, Micro Arts I meant. Because the Infinity ones from Micro Arts look great. The colour palette is spot on. And I think they do a Western Europe one, which again is very good. The colour palette to me looks spot on. But the Normandy ones, they just look too vibrant, a bit off. But I don't know if it's the way they're photographed, because I've never seen them in the flesh. Shakos says the War Basis ones are better. The War Basis stuff does look really good, Shakos. Jeez, he says you just need to send all their broken kits to David.
Oh, don't, because I will happily write Karen emails. Just saying, boys and girls.
If you don't like MDF terrain, don't worry about it, Taros. It will not be relevant to you. So, couple of videos. These are the videos that inspired us with tonight's topic, short as it will be. Let's Talk Tabletop did one about... So, basically, what this video with the clickbaity tile Wargaming's Worst Terrain is about is hills. And as we're going to discuss tonight, he makes a lot of the similar things, arguments, specifically about hills, but we want to broaden it a bit. Which is that hills are something that wargamers often include in terrain in tables. But they're either literally immersion breakingly small or unplayable, because there is really no perfect answer. For an individually based models, you might want like a Aztec stepped pyramid style hill where everything's in nice layers with 1.5 or 2 inch steps. But that doesn't work too well for movement tray based games. So if it's a rank and flank,
they don't look overly pretty either, do they?
They look very Lego-esque and weird. Obviously, there's also the issue with, for rank and flank based games, hills with slopes work better. But if the slope's too steep, that doesn't work for single models because nothing will stand up. It's one of them ones. It's a good video because I'm not so sure about his conclusion. Because his conclusion is, I'm going to build a super realistic hill that's 3 feet across with a really shallow slope. And it's like, so what you're basically going to do is play your game on a hill.
You're going to play your game on an incline.
Because it's going to fill the entire fucking table. And then Big Lee did a similar video. His was pitched slightly differently. This is Big Lee at Miniature Adventures. After Partisan, he sort of commented there don't appear to be a lot of hills appearing on tables at events. And then he had another think about it and did this follow-up video saying, and while I'm on the subject, why does nobody ever use ditches? That you never see ditches or trenches anymore. And again, it's a good video, but he sort of answers his own question, which is to actually represent negative terrain features on a table is pretty fucking impossible unless that table is custom built for the job. Choose me, you fucking child. Where have all the not ditches, but ditches gone?
Bitch is gone.
Yeah, fucking hell. So yeah, those are the two videos that inspired our
So
topic tonight.
yeah, there's something to be said about having a nice table and a nice choice of terrain, isn't there?
Toros
To,
says
to,
maybe
to,
you just don't see them at shows. Do you have like do you include trenches and negative terrain on your like ditches and that sort of thing, Toros, on your tables? Do you have a good sort of solution to point us at?
because again, most features on this that get added to a tabletop are wholly unrealistic. Take the forest that I was playing at in Flames of War with. Okay, yes, it's 15 mil, so I can get away with slightly more than a 28 mil game. But when you stick a base down and it's about what fucking 6 inches by 2 inches, it's the equivalent of a tiny little coppice. It's fuck all,
Yeah.
tree wise, and yet we play it. It's a forest.
Yeah. And again, that's because to do it realistically wouldn't, because like you say, if you were to realistically represent woods or forest on your table, then you'd end up with because even a small copse of trees at 28 mil, you'd be looking at something that was probably a couple of feet across in each direction, and the trees themselves, to be correctly scaled, would be what, 8 to 10 inches.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's not practical to store. It's not practical to play with.
Again, it's not. There has to be a compromise, and it's already sort of been discussed with what you were saying about these videos. There has to be a compromise between playability and realism. We cannot all play games on fucking the equivalent of a diorama railway setup. Do you know what I mean? We can't have all of that real fancy detail, embankments carved in, and everything else because of the scale we're playing at, because of the storage requirements, because of the fact that we have to go between multiple locations from time to time. There has to be compromises made to suit the user, isn't there, Paul?
Yeah. Taros says he doesn't use negative terrain because the scales he plays at those sort of features become irrelevant. Shakos says he sees a fair bit of it. To be fair, the problem is you do see more trenches. Obviously, Trench Crusaders is huge. So, and World War One has been a bit vogue. So you're seeing a lot of it with that, but it's still not something that you commonly see.
No, because again, me and Paul in the pre-show said, "Oh well, you get around a lot of the negative situations by creating a table, and you just have that table sculpted in fucking expanded polystyrene, carve away what you need."
Shaka says we
Well,
don't mention
Pandy's not here, Shakos, so we're
Crusade.
fine. We're fine. It's just when he watches it on the catch up, he's going to be salty AF. But yeah, because you have to carve away, because you have to whittle away at it. It's easier to do on a pre-built board. But then you come to the next problem, Paul, don't you? that you have a board that's going to play the same every single time you play the game.
Yes. Again, if you're taking fucking 4-inch or 6-inch expanded polystyrene foam and digging into it and making a beautiful landform, yeah, excellent. But it's not practical for storage.
Fucking War Cradle, you twats.
Oh God.
They haven't cut one of the holes.
Yeah, that was
Get
something.
my sign in. So I've now got to drill the fucker out. Or
Yeah.
I'm going to just cut the tab off because it's quicker and easier.
Just glue it with super glue. Yep. I was trying to find.
You carve and whittle away at a beautiful landform, but then it gets very samey very quickly.
Cheesebean makes a valid point. How many variant table layouts do you want to play on in a year? I suppose this is the thing. David and I are a bit spoilt in that we play so many games. Maybe because obviously a lot of wargamers maybe don't get to play so often, so it doesn't matter for them. And that is a fair point that I had not considered.
But the flip side is, Cheese Me, if you make your terrain modular, you can do like I've done. So my Flames board is a prime example. If I take the 15mm buildings away, magically it becomes a 28mm rank and flank board. If that was all pre-built together, less so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what though? I was thinking about what Toros said, that scale has a massive impact on this. Because, like...
We'll come to your comment in a second, Cheese Me, because we'll go for a deep dive on this.
It is the whole issue of the way terrain looks and functions becomes so much easier as the scale goes down. Like Toros was saying, you could represent a relatively large area of forest with like a relatively thin piece of felt at 6mm. Because, fucking even tall trees.
If we spitballed last night, didn't we? Because even the trees we're using for forest at 28mm are fucking bullshit.
I've got taller fucking trees in my garden.
to get to like a 50-foot high tree, it actually needs to be 10 inches off the table.
Yeah, and
Night, Cheese Me.
And I get why it's not, because ultimately to playing war again, if you're one of those guys that's got like a 20-foot by 20-foot hobby lodge or garage conversion or loft conversion where you can leave all of your stuff up ready to play all of the time, that's awesome. But most of us, when we do play games, are temporarily commissioning areas of our normal living space, aren't we?
The other thing I want to just throw in here, Paul, is maybe we're the problem, because we don't just play 40k. We have 40k, Flames, Fantasy, that kind of thing. We suddenly end up with a terrain collection that's 20 fucking totes. When
to
we
be
could,
fair,
in
though,
theory, have 5 totes and have a lot of variance and variety on even like a pre-built, pre-sculpted board.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think
Don't you come round here with buts. I'm just playing devil's advocate that maybe we're the issue.
The Altar of Freedom website has a great tutorial for making 6mm forests. Matthew, so I take it you play small scale games as well, Matthew. He says he uses green scaring pads for 6mm forests. I bet those cut to irregular shapes look fucking bang on. And you could even paint the bottoms brown, and it would bleed up a little bit if you wanted to as well, to give
Yeah.
them like a double-sided wooden greenery type look.
Yeah.
I bet they work really well. I get what you're saying, but my counter to that would be, let's say you're a historical wargamer. A historical war, I shouldn't think they must exist, but I wouldn't have thought there were many historical wargamers who only, for example, do Napoleonics in the 19th century or whatever.
Yes, but by the same token, Paul, at least they can pick up their Napoleonic 19th century mat, trees, roadways, transport them into World War II and play bolt action
And
with
just
them,
change
and
if
then
you're
just
the
have a
yeah
30-litre tote with the buildings in that they need to play bolt action.
yeah just add
We
some
have to have entirely new mats and entirely new buildings and entirely new scatter to scene change.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say, for example, you only do World War II at 10mm or 15mm or whatever. You still got drastically different biomes. You've got North Africa, Pacific, Europe. Do you know what I mean? You know, surely most war gamers will want a desert collection, a European collection.
I think we're weird, sir.
You think
'Cause
we
again,
are?
look at Frostgrave. Because you're very much, I want snow on it, and I get you want snow on it, but because you want snow on it,
I get
you can't
the
then use that for more time.
Again, I'm going to push back because I get what you're saying about the playing too many games shit, but ultimately as well, look at what I was saying for my 2026 plan, which is to basically just do Japanese themed games so that whatever terrain collection I build, I can use for Bushido, you know, fucking
Pike and shot, samurai.
Pike and shot, bloody whatever they were called, the Edo period wars, all that shit.
I tell you what, you have got to do if you're doing a Japanese set. You've got to do like some really beautiful cherry blossom trees.
Yeah, oh mate, I saw some awesome ones at Partisan. And some fantastic bloody paddy fields that the guy had made out of brown acrylic sheet that was about 3mm thick from eBay. Because I got him to explain to me how he made them. He said the problem is getting the sheet is really hard now. He built them years ago and he struggles to get the sheet for a reasonable price. He says
Shakos has a solution to our problem.
Yeah.
Just play naval war games.
To be fair, Toros, I didn't mind building the sushi bar because I am a bit of a Japanophile. And I did consider using it in wargaming, but the scale's way off. It's some sort of like weird 45mm.
Shall we come to Toros's comment, even though he's not Toros, Cheeseme's comment, even though he's not here?
Yeah.
Modular terrain.
Yeah.
So we've discussed obviously negatives a bit of a pain in the arse to do, but Sarissa are doing a lot of these, and other companies are doing a lot of like these pre-sculpted MDF backing boards that you can build your terrain onto. So there's a company I know of down Bournemouth way that do like entire cliff sets and that kind of stuff that you can then skim over and put like your Woodland Scenics plaster molds into and that kind of thing.
So it's basically a skeleton that you're still building a 3D custom board.
Yes. But you then come to the next problem of modularity, of if you're building a board and they're all 1 foot by 1 foot tiles, The roads have all got to leave the boards in the same places, and the rivers have all got to leave the boards in the same places, so that they're actually fully modular and not, well, this one can only go with that one because of this reason and that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very hard to pull off a fully modular universal system and it not look a little bit shitty when you're building on a board. Is that modular? I would argue it is, Toros, because you can then orientate and have the hills in different places and that kind of thing. If you've built the set of bricks and squares out, say you always play on a 4x4 and you need 16 squares to do it, but you actually build 20 or 24.
Yeah.
You've then got options of what you can bring and what you leave at home for a game.
Do you know what though? I think it is a good point, and here's a controversial probably opinion. I think that sort of modular terrain tile thing, in fact, I don't even think that. I was going to say the problem is it's sort of the worst of all worlds, because you're making something that's quite cumbersome and bulky, that's difficult to store. It does have modularity, however, and it does give you the capacity to make some incredibly complex ground forms.
Beautiful tables.
You know, I mean, I was just about to blurt it out, and then I thought, but that is the solution that makes Pandy's trench offensive game playable and immersive as fuck. When you do that modular trench system, which is why the product which is why the product on his site, expensive though it is just such a good solution. And the more I've thought about it, the more I've thought it is actually probably worth the money. It is an expensive thing, but the gaming experience is worth the investment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Know what you mean.
And it's taken a while to talk myself into it, but I have to give it to Pandy. I think he was right to go with it.
I mean, again, Toros says here, you put a coloured cloth down and then you build it up. And again, that's part of what I love about my little Flames of War table, is the fact that I put just my battle mat down. I then sort of tend to build a road network and a river network, and then I build up from there, and I put the buildings down and then the walls and the gardens down and the forests, and it makes for a good experience. But again, because I'm missing bocage at the moment, so I need to build some bocage for the table.
Yeah.
But the other thing as well is the hills aren't overly playable or amazing at blocking line of sight. And again, they're very small. They're only like 8 or 9 tank lengths by 3 or 4 tank lengths.
What's this? The hills that you've got to use with from Callistra that you're using with your Flames
of War. Yeah, they're not amazing. And they don't really block line of sight. But then there's other ways that I've gamified and got round it. I've got probably close to 130, 150 quid's worth of MDF 15mm pre-coloured terrain from Empire at War. That
you've used
I
buildings
just
more.
Use buildings and put buildings down. Again, I have footprinted my forest so that I can just... There's no arguments. You're drawing line of sight over the forest footprint. You can't see through it. End of story.
I think ultimately, for wargaming, playability has to trump aesthetics. Is that too far? Even to the point where if something, it doesn't matter how good something looks, if it makes playing the game an unpleasant chore, you're not going to use it.
Again, there's a lot of guys out there on the internet that have said, and even you said about it with your FDM printer, doing 3D space corridors for
fucking Space Hulk.
Yeah, for Space Hulk.
Yeah.
Yes, they're really nice. Yes, there's the really nice modular systems that you can all click together.
Yeah.
But fuck me, is it a chore?
Yeah.
Because you set them all up and then you have to click them all in and click them all together. There was something to be said about just the sheer simplicity of picking the cardboard out and arranging the cardboard.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because it, and again, I do like it, but my that fucking Infinity Terrain, I'm terrible with names now. I can't remember what's the name of the company. Oh, the cardboard stuff in the box.
Acid House.
Acid House, thank you. So I do love that Acid House terrain, but the assembly is not insignificant. I mean,
yeah, I'm not necessarily saying Acid House, or what's the other one that does Core Space?
Battle Systems. To be fair, that was a conversation that I had with Dan at the club. Because obviously Dan bought some beautiful looking Battle Systems buildings for his old world games. But it's like he said, you're not going to want to build them so that you can disassemble them. You're going to build them to glue them together to keep them like this. Because it's a complete twat unbuilding them and rebuilding them.
At least your Acid House stuff is relatively painless to fold down and fold up, etc.
Yes,
you just pop the core out and it just concertinas down.
Yeah, from that point of view, the design is definitely, they're not taking the piss by saying, oh, well, you can pack this away into a box. You're right, you can, and it isn't, you're not stretching it to the point of incredulity. Do you know what I mean? I'll give them that.
It's a tough one as well, because I think the comment came up at TT while we were at the show, actually, didn't it? TT's MDF that is unfinished is very thin and not amazing. It's only 3 mil thick with some cardboard for detailing and stuff mounted on top of it. And actually, their pre-coloured chroma stuff that they are doing looks way better, because they're sandwiching 2-3 mil sheets back to back.
Yeah.
And the walls actually have a proper thickness, like a resin or a 3D printed piece of terrain.
Yeah, I mean,
and they've got a heft to them and they've got a quality to them. But you've still got to go around and finish that edge, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's so much less work than painting terrain from scratch, isn't it? I mean, let's be fair.
Yes, it is.
But I mean, that was funny that the guy was sort of saying it was a bug, wasn't he? He was saying, well, we can only apply the chroma texture to one side of our sheets, so that means we have to back everything, and everything's double thickness. And I was like, yeah, but that's not a bug, mate. That's a feature, because now these buttresses look like buttresses because they're an appropriate thickness. When you go through this doorway, this wall looks an appropriate thickness for an exterior wall. Do you know what I mean? The drawback is it increases the cost massively because it's double the MDF. But the other thing is the heft and weight of the buildings means that they're more stable and they don't jostle and jiggle about. I mean, that's why the foreground stuff was great. It was expensive, but fuck me, the feel of it during play was amazing because
'cause
everything
it's
was
3 or
like,
4 layers sandwiched all together.
again, everything was always back to back, multiple layers, because you got an internal texture, external texture. Do you know what I mean? It was this. You can't see it, but the Norman Church kit I've got up here, that's 3 layers. Every wall is 3 layers thick. You've got a structural frame with
Then an
internal and
inside and an
external
outside.
texture panels
Yeah.
on everything. So it's literally 3 layers of 2mm MDF. It's a beast. But that's
Sure.
why it was 180 quid or whatever ridiculous cost it was.
Yeah.
Toros,
Should we?
let's just address Toros's. Toros makes a great, an annoyingly great comment. He says, dare I suggest you go down the old school route and put the hills under a cloth, so all you need is books and just some simple carved plain polystyrene. I think it was Cheese Me or Shakos said about the best hill is to just scrunch up a piece of clothing under a fabric drape, because, and I can imagine that works really well, because if it's soft, it's sort of got it's got enough substance to form a visual effect, but if you put a heavy model on it, it'll tend to sink in and not fall over.
Yeah.
And the problem is, we've gone down the route of neoprene back mats, and neoprene does not conform like basic fabric. Plain fabric, that would work brilliantly. And the question would be then, well, why did you go for neoprene, you fool? Because the fabric is so much cheaper anyway. It all comes down to your gaming surface. The problem is, using fabric mats like on the gaming tables, which are basically multi-sectional pasting tables at our gaming club, because it's basically just like a church hall, imagine.
Yeah.
Is that the cloth on those tables is shit, because it drifts, moves around, shows
It slides about.
Yeah, it just doesn't have any traction or weight to it. If I had a dedicated 6x4 flat as a fucking ironing board, made out of marble, immovable gaming surface, I can imagine it working really well. But for the things that we're often improvising war games on, the fabric mats I've used would drive me nuts.
I've had a thought.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous. I've got one of them grippy mats from IKEA that's gridded, that's meant to go under a rug to stop it sliding about on the floor.
Yep, I've got this. You can get the same thing to go under tablecloths, and in fact, I've used it at club, and it does help.
But it doesn't fully fix it.
It doesn't, because again,
there's no weight to
there's
it.
no weight to the mat. If again, like in a bloody hemmed Egyptian cotton fucking tablecloth made out of linen or whatever, that will sit relatively heavy anyway. So if you just want extra safety, then those rubber grip mats are excellent. But I didn't find it work particularly well at club. But that's because we're improvising. I tell you what's a genius thing that Toros I need to do, and I would recommend anybody do this. Just go and buy some fucking 3 or 4 bags of Woodland Scenic or whoever, some sort of hobby company's flock, that sort of like moss stuff that forms into clumps. Yeah?
Yeah.
Just break it all up and keep it in like an ice cream container to just scatter on your table around your other terrain pieces. Because every time I see somebody do that, it's such a simple thing.
it helps blend it all in
Oh
and blend
my,
it all together. It's like the equivalent of putting a wash on a mini, isn't
yeah,
it? Really.
it is. It absolutely is, and it lifts everything visually. But when you're playing, you can just push it out the way. It's such a good idea.
Can we talk about, because we've got about 10 minutes left?
I
Can we talk about something that we haven't addressed?
Go on.
Scatter.
What you mean, like? Yeah, go on then.
So actually, you can get away with a little bit more with all of it if you just have some little scattery pieces.
Yeah.
To help blend everything in and together and make it all look lived in and everything else. I mean, again, both me and you own 3D boards from TT Combat. You own the Carnivale boards.
Yep.
That are the raised canals and everything else, and they sit off a nice flat water mat. And I own the city street sections for Drop Zone, don't I?
Yeah.
And whilst they are good and whilst they are modular and fit together, it's not until you add all the scatter of like bridges over the roads or jetties and stuff that the table really starts to come alive. Is it?
No, I agree entirely. And I'll tell you what as well. I think one mistake that you can make is to having, number one, people don't focus enough attention on terrain anyway. But then when you do, you think, oh, I'll get these big centerpiece things, I'll get this huge building. Like, I mean, on it's like...
Again, you're hitting the nail on the head and we haven't even spoken about it yet. Fallout Red Rocket.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
It's a beautiful building, but Fallout Wasteland Warfare plays on a 3x3. Why am I adding a 2x2 building to a 3x3 map to have a game experience?
Yeah, and this is what we were saying when David was showing the scale of the model going through the door. A lot of the people online have said the building needs to be printed at, what did he say, 80%?
80 to 90%.
Yeah, because, again, realistically speaking, the building would look... Again, buildings are another thing. We use in wargaming, like those houses for Normandy, you see on all these wargaming tables. You have, basically, if you build a town for a 28mm war game, every house is a one up, one down cottage, and the roads are only single track.
Even my 15mm stuff, it's
single
track and one up, one down.
Because once you start scaling everything up to realistic dimensions, a handful of terrain pieces eat your whole fucking table, don't they? Yeah. And this is why I think scatter is better, because it can be realistically scaled, but if the items are small enough, like the guys are mentioning in chat, walls and hedges, before you get that fourth building or that third hill, ask yourself, do you have enough little shit? Would you be better off getting a wrecked vehicle or, I don't know, a bloody...
barricade set.
Yeah, like an improvised barricade for a road or a fence set or something like that. Just the little things. Number one, they're easier to store. Number two, they tend to work more effectively for games. Let's be fair. Do you know what I mean? Because again...
Yeah, again, sir, you are preaching to the converted. It's significantly easier to throw a foot square's worth of scatter into a box than it is to throw a foot by a foot building into a box.
Yeah. And particularly if it's something that you can't dismantle or break apart, stuff becomes unstorable. It's like, I love some of my... I love my jungle terrain that I bought, which is basically like the palm trees bonded into the hillocks with the texture all added around the base. But the biggest piece is a fucking nightmare to store because it doesn't sit at...
Even my biggest Callistra Hill, I'm not storing. I'm only using that in games at home because it's too big to go into a tote to be transported to club.
You can't even get it to and from club. Exactly. We've only got a little bit of time left. Let me see if I can... let's go back to studio mode. We want this one. We want this. Right. So this is the dilemma I've got with my LVTs.
LVTs, yeah.
So this is from Flames of War. This is the Team Yankee website actually, but it shows you how. So when they first landed in Saipan,
are you sure this is Team Yankee and not Bolt Action?
It is definitely teamyankee.com. This website. Okay. So what happened was all of the LVTs originally were in
that drab,
no, they were in that ocean grey that they call it, ocean blue, whatever the fuck it is.
Okay, yeah.
So they were all, because they were painted the same as all other Navy assets. So Higgins boats, landing craft, they're all painted the fucking same. Because
ocean grey.
Because that camo, that colour works really well when you're in the sea. And what they found was, on Saipan, they got their asses kicked because as soon as they came ashore, they were massive targets. So then they started adding the sand colour in the field as the extra colour. And then after a bit more, they realised, fuck it, just go with the Marine Corps drab, which is where they ended up. And my question is, do I paint, for example, all three of mine in Marine the Saipan colour? Or do I paint all three the same? Or do I just mix it up? So one's got the camo, one's in the drab, one's in the... What do you think would be best? I know what would be less work, but I wonder if I might regret it.
Do everything the same and do it in Saipan because it's great. Or do everything in Palau because it's, again, all brown. Isn't it?
Just do the easy thing, Toros. Because the other thing is, obviously, again, as we're playing through the campaign, like to play Saipan, I should do them all ocean blue or whatever, if I'm using them all, which I probably will be. Because the beach landings, you have to outnumber the Japanese 2-1. So you need a lot of American models to do those beach landing scenarios. So I'll probably end up using all three. So for Saipan, they should all be just the ocean grey.
Yeah.
But as we get later in the campaign, you could theoretically have a mix, because some have been old assets, some will have been modded assets, some will be new repaints. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, I know what you mean. The other thing is, though, dude, right? Are you going to, once these are painted, put them in your display cabinet? Because if you're going to sit in your display cabinet on the shelf, I would argue do one of each.
Yeah, I think I might.
Do some historical digging and find out which of each variety was more prevalent in which theatre, if there was any kind of leverage.
Well, to be fair, this article really discusses how it works really well. Essentially, it was a process of learning, because as they got ashore, because again, they didn't realise that they would be engaged as heavily as they were with the Japs, because the Japs made such a fight of it. The Americans didn't realise they'd be relying on these things as much as they were inland. Shakos makes a good point. I think the one that's got the howitzer on, it makes sense to do that
camo,
one
yeah.
in the olive drab. I've
about
looked
the
at a few
Tinian
things on. I've looked at a few
do it
things
in-
online, Toros, and as I say, I'm fairly confident with the way it worked. It was really just more from a hobby point of view. What does everybody think? Do you think I will regret painting them like Skittles, everyone different? Or will I regret it more if I do them all the same? It's really sort of deciding what's the best way to tackle it as hobby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know entirely what you mean, sir. And I'm thinking, I know we don't usually advocate for Skittles on this show, but I'm thinking Skittles is probably going to be the best. Because there's a story to it. There's your evolution again. As you're playing the campaign with people, you can be a bit of a history buff and a nerd and explain why
I tell you
they're
what,
different.
yeah, I tell you the way I should do it. Thinking about, I've got an LVT2 A1, which is
That
obviously
should be Saipan colour.
just armed with machine guns, designed to getting troops ashore. I should do that in the grey.
Yeah.
The howitzer one, which is actually the Amtrak LVTA1 with the howitzer, I should do that in the camo.
Yeah.
Because that was early on, because later on they used more tanks.
Yes,
because they realised that actually
duplex drive Shermans and
yeah,
shit like that, didn't they?
even upgrading the gun on the Amtrak made them go shit. They were still shit. See you later, Toros. And I think the one I should do in the drab is the 4. The final model of the water buffalo that they used right up until the end of the war. Because that's the one that's most likely to be done in the USMC drab. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense in
I'm glad we've
terms
had
of
that conversation and bullied you into doing
historical
Skittles.
narrative. I tell you though, this for me is the best bit about historical wargaming. It's the hobby side of it. You guys who've watched this stream for a while know that I'm a paint to play guy, but I do actually get quite into the historical side of the hob painting.
Drab and like a black, wasn't it, Shakos?
Well, yes, because then they upgraded the drab to a 3-colour camo. Red earth, like the sand colour, and the drab, and then black as well was also used. Because obviously they field camoed them as well. Because the other thing I found out is that they also camoed towards the end of the campaign. They even started adding like blue-green camo to the Higgins boats and the landing craft.
Again, I think you should do some of that on your. I should think you should do some of that on your Higgins, etc. Again, particularly if you get some 3D printed ones. I know you've just bought them ones from Warlord, but because you're going to need again a metric shit ton.
Do you know what? I don't.
Couple that are 3D printed, or even again buy the Warlord ones again.
Italeri do quite a nice plastic kit for Higgins boat.
Is it 156 though, sir?
I don't know what scale it is. That's the only thing. But I did see that when I was Googling earlier. Right, guys, we've run over. So we need to call this stream before we we're all fucking night.
And melt, because it's fucking hot.
It is hot, to be fair. My painting. I did get my grey bases done, so
Nice.
I
Nice.
say that. That's I missed a bit.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
I've
Whoopsie.
got a fair bit more of this half done house built. I've got all the foredecking on it and the stairs and the sign started.
Oh yeah, I mean that's good because you can finish it to. Oh no.
Cunt.
Right, okay, guys, let's call it. Thank you very much to all of the guys in chat, as usual. Stars, the stars of the show are our friends over there in the chat. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you watched along later at YouTube, if you can find time to do only one thing, please click the like button for us. We appreciate that, and it helps to push our little offering in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to do the other stuff, then that's cool as well. Do that. But failing that, I think we're done. We're going to see you all next week.
Ciao.
See you later, kebab wanker.
It's another Thursday night. I see Crispin's wearing tights. Sparrow's getting in the bath. Young David's full of wrath. Paula's tightening his straps. Where on his apron you saps. Technical difficulties. They're really such a crime. Technical difficulties. They happen all the time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop 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 time. Cheese Meat is on day release. Damn silk tries not to crease. Ewoks keeping nice and warm. In bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile the handyman is opening up a can. Technical difficulties. They're really such a crime. Technical difficulties. They happen all the time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. Cheese Meat is on day release. Damn Chef tries not to crease. The Ewoks keeping nice and warm. In bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile the handyman is opening another can. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. Cheese Meat is on day release. Damn me up tries not to crease. And Ewoks keeping nice and warm. In bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile the handyman is opening another can.